Hello and welcome to the news on NTA International. I am Olajide Bello. First, the headlines. Nigeria and India sign agreement on several areas of cooperation as Prime Minister Narendra Modi bags national honors. President Tinubu to participate in G20 Leaders Summit in Brazil. APC candidate Lucky Aiyedatiwa wins Ondo governorship election. Nigeria and India have signed a memorandum of understanding on new areas of collaboration to further strengthen the bilateral ties between both countries. This was a major outcome of the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's state visit to Nigeria on the invitation of President Bola Tinubu. State House correspondent Musbah Adewanha reports that the president conferred on his guest a national honor of the Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger.
Again, the meeting of two willing partners. A partnership fast transforming from just bilateral relationship into a cordial friendship. This is a reverse order of their earlier meeting in New Delhi barely a year ago. President Tinubu's attendance of the 18th G20 Leaders Summit as a special guest and his meeting with Prime Minister Modi September last year culminated in some agreements that were poised to double the trade volume between the two countries that had, at the time, got close to $15 billion. Now, the relationship is becoming as cordial as it could ever get, with Prime Minister Modi visiting Nigeria, first by any Indian leader in 17 years. There are long-standing cooperations on education, energy, health, technology, and culture, among others. The partnerships are now growing wider, with agreements signed on survey cooperation, culture and exchange program, as well as customs cooperation.
Nigeria values its excellent relationship with India, and we work to broaden the same for mutual benefit of our two friendly countries. You stood side by side with Nigeria on many fronts for many decades. I'm confident that our discussions will enhance Nigerian-India relations on the basis of mutual respect and shared mission.
Today will add a new chapter in our relations, and together we will also continue to highlight at a global level the priorities of the Global South. And thanks to our joint efforts, we will achieve success as well in this.
And not just as fair weather friends, both parties are also willing to face their challenges together.
I would like to express condolences for the loss of lives caused by the floods. To support your relief efforts, India is sending 20 tons of humanitarian aid to Nigeria. Excellency.
The state visit dovetailed into a special launch where President Bola Tinubu decorated his guest with the second highest national honor in the land, Grand Commander of the Order of Niger, GCON. Again, it's ending in a warm handshake that will further shape the relations in years to come. From the State House, Musbah and Wahab, NTA News.
India and Nigeria have shown their support and commitment to strengthening the already existing relationship with the two countries following a two-day visit of the Indian Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, to Nigeria. India's Secretary on Economic Relations, Damu Ravi, made this known during the press briefing in Abuja. Francis Udojo has the details.
Damu Ravi at the press briefing described the visit of India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi as unprecedented, with bilateral cooperation focusing in the field of trade and investment, security, education and health.
As you all are aware, the India-Nigerian relationship is very strong, underpinned by a strong economic cooperation and trade and investment. There are about 200 Indian companies who have invested about $27 billion in this country, and the two leaders have discussed ways to further expand this economic partnership for the mutual benefit of the two countries.
The high delegation level talks, Damuravi said, will also enhance strategic partnership in agriculture, railway transportation, as well as job creation, scholarships, and partnership in digital education program.
Both leaders have also discussed global and regional issues, and in that context, they have reiterated their commitment to further deepen their commitment to the Global South and how to take forward the agenda of the Global South in the global discourse.
Damuravi also emphasized that President Bola Tinubu, in keeping India-Nigeria relationship, conferred a national honor of the Grand Commander of the Order of Niger on Modi for his contributions to India-Nigeria ties. An honor, he said, India as a country deeply appreciates. This makes Mr. Modi the first foreign leader to be conferred with such national award in Nigeria since 1969. In Abuja, Francis Udojo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has departed Abuja for Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, to attend the 19th meeting of the G20 Leaders Summit taking place in the South American country. The presidential airplane took off from the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport at about 7 o'clock Sunday evening. A statement by the presidential advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, implies that the Nigerian leaders' participation at the instance of the Brazilian president and current president of the group, Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. The summit, holding from Monday, November 18 to Tuesday 19, will bring together leaders from the world's top 20 economies, including the European Union, the African Union, and multilateral financial institutions, among others. President Tinubu is also expected to hold bilateral meetings on the sidelines of the summit on advancement of Nigeria's socio-economic reforms. He is expected to return to Nigeria at the end of the visit. And Senegal on Sunday voted in a parliamentary election with the country's new leadership, aiming for resounding a majority to see through the promise of ambitious reforms that swept them to power 8 months ago. And coalition results commence in Gabon's referendum polls. Chukunonso Nwabweze reports.
The polls, which opened 8 a.m. and closed 6 p.m. local time, saw more than 7 million registered voters cast their ballots for candidates of their choice in the 165-seat assembly for the next 5 years. Senegalese Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko, who was among the early electors to vote, sued for calm. Top priorities for voters are jobs and the economy, which President Diomaye Faye pledged to transform with the needed majority in the parliament. Analysts say Senegalese voters have historically confirmed their presidential choice during parliamentary elections, and the ruling PASTEF party is the favorite to win. Former President Macky Sall is leading an opposition grouping from abroad, breaking with the political restraint normally adopted by former leaders in the West African nation. Reliable projections of the new parliament's composition is expected by Monday. In a related development, counting and collation of results is ongoing in Gabon's referendum on whether to approve a new constitution for the country that would allow presidential candidates to be exclusively Gabonese, amongst other amendments. Reports put the voters' turnout at over 70%. Chukunonso Nwabweze, NTA News.
Venezuelan authorities have freed 225 people detained in protest against disputed re-election of President Nicolas Maduro on July 2024. Chukunonso Nwabweze again reports.
Venezuelan prosecutor's office said the releases were granted and executed for people tried for the post-July 28 election violence following a large-scale review of their cases. Human rights group Follow Penel had independently confirmed the release of 107 people by Saturday evening. Over 2,400 people were arrested during the unrest that followed the re-election of Nicolas Maduro, which the opposition alleged was fraudulent. The violence left at least 28 dead and nearly 200 people injured, according to prosecutors. The detainees are said to include 164 minors, 69 of whom are allegedly still being held. Hundreds of relatives had been protesting to demand the release of their loved ones, saying they had no part in the protests. Opposition leader Maria Corina Machado had praised the efforts of human rights groups in securing the release of detainees. Chukunonsonwa Boeze, NTA News.
Survey has shown Africa's transport sector accounts for almost 1/3 of its total energy-related carbon emissions, with rapid urbanization and increasing transportation demands expected to lead to a rise in greenhouse gases. However, forecasts from side engagements in Baku is that these emissions could be reduced by 130% by 2050 if Nigeria and Africa fully go the way of CNG and electric vehicles development. Charles Alpha reports.
The transportation sector is vital in the process of globalizing products and services. However, the rise in air pollution from substantial energy consumption from non-renewable fossil resources is having adverse effects, specifically on the bulk of African nations. There is growing acknowledgement that greenhouse gases are responsible for climate change, and the combined utilization of fossil fuels across several industries account for more than 70% of the overall greenhouse gas emission on a global scale. Conversations here are on the huge potential Nigeria has and how can Africa revolutionize its energy sectors through investment in electric vehicles and renewable energy development.
If you look at it, for example, the largest polluting sector is the transportation sector, and we're 200 million people. In less than 30 years, we're projected to be about 500 million people. So imagine the number of cars. Therefore, Nigeria must, at this stage, begin to look at alternatives. And the best alternative is electric vehicles.
Although the Nigerian government has long begun the procurement of CNG buses and conversion of combustive to electric cars, affordability, establishment of more conversion and charging centers to cater for the need of many developing countries, delegates here believe are gaps that must be closed.
That is why we are here. We've done the pilot to prove that it's workable and it's doable. And that's why we are here looking for partnerships and funding from different private and the national government for that transition.
The government has set up an enabling environment that you can do this business by reducing the tax so that you're able to import all those components, so that you're able to assemble it in Nigeria.
Decarbonizing the transportation sector in Africa, starting with Nigeria, some say requires a huge investment and collaboration from the government and private sector for it to happen. In Baku, Azerbaijan, Charles Alpha, NTA News.
And back home, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has declared Lucky Aiyedatiwa of the All Progressives Congress, APC, winner of the governorship election in Ondo State. The declaration was made after Aiyedatiwa secured a total number of 366,781 votes to defeat other contestants. Toyin Batire reports.
The returning officer for the governorship election in Ondo State and Vice Chancellor of Federal University of Lokoja, Professor Layemi Akinwumi, announced the final results after collating all the results from the 18 local government areas of the state. Professor Akinwumi said Lucky Aiyedatiwa polled 366,781 votes to defeat the candidate of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), Agbola Ajayi, who scored 117,845 votes.
Aiyedatiwa Lucky Orimisan of APC 366781. That Aiyedatiwa Lucky Orimisan of APC, having satisfied the requirement of the law, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected.
Representatives of political parties admit that the result represents the will of the people.
The people love him, and the people of this state is happy that he has returned as governor-elect. The party will come up with what to do at the appropriate time. I will report back to the party.
Reacting, the winner promised to run an all-inclusive government while the PDP candidate was unavailable to react.
They have made a choice and given me a renewed mandate to continue as their governor beyond 2025.
With the final result, Lucky Ayedatiwa won in all the 18 local government areas of the state. In Nakure, Toyin Batire, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu felicitates with the winner of Saturday Ondo governorship election, Mr. Lucky Ayedatiwa of the All Progressive Congress, while also commending the peaceful conduct of the process. The president congratulates Ayedatiwa and other candidates of the 17 political parties for the maturity and sense of purpose demonstrated during the campaigns and the election, attributing the success of the polls to the civility in the state. He enjoins the political actors to allow their orderly conduct to permeate the post-election activities and processes. The president also commends INEC for the efficiency of uploading more than 98% of results on the same day of the elections. You're watching the news on NTA International. More reports when we return. Thanks for being there. In a move to uplift local talent and nurture small businesses, Senator Ireti Kingibe, senator representing the Federal Capital Territory, has, under the Federal College of Horticulture in Dadinkoa, empowered over 1,200 artisans in Abuja. This initiative, in partnership with Epanex Nigeria Limited, Felsom Consultant and Engineering Limited and Artisan Construction Co. Limited, aims to provide artisans with the financial support and business knowledge needed to thrive in today's economy. Justin Bemwe reports.
It was a moment of celebration and new beginnings for not less than 1,200 artisans in the Federal Capital Territory as they gathered in Abuja for an empowerment program spearheaded by Senator Ireti Kingibe. The program, which marks a significant leap forward for small-scale enterprises in the region, is a collaboration with top industry players, Aponex Nigeria Limited, Felsom Consultant and Engineering Limited, and Artisan Construction Co. Limited. Together, they are investing in the hands and minds of these artisans, giving them not only grants, but also the critical skills needed to turn their businesses into sustainable, thriving ventures. Senator Ireti Kingibe, in her message presented by her senior legislative aide, highlighted the importance of empowering local talent and fostering economic growth from the grassroots level.
Nothing is too small to start a business. Depends on what you want to start. You know, if you are at that level, even if you already have an existing business or something doing, you can add it to it, to improve. For example, you are buying and selling clothes now. You can add it to it to increase the volume you purchase for resale. So it's mainly geared towards augmenting whatever you already have or whatever you're already doing.
Before the grants were handed out, the artisans received comprehensive training on how to navigate the complexities of running small businesses, from tackling the challenges of starting up to mastering the art of financial management. The training sessions covered essential topics like business strategy, problem solving, and how to grow their enterprises despite the economic hurdles of today's world.
How do you succeed? Number one, be intentional. Number two, see the business as being different from you.
But you don't just venture into a business because they say come and collect. No. And like the first speaker said, it's not all about prayer. Prayer is good. But you don't just pray and say, I've prayed already, so give me the money. You go in and start buying and selling. No.
And the response from the artisans? Pure joy. Many praise Senator Kingibe for her timely support, which they believe will transform their livelihoods and help them scale their businesses.
So even we, people with disability, he had tried with us and he done well, and we were praying for her to make her have the process to good his life.
I want to say we are very happy for what our beloved mother did, Hajia Ireti Kingibe. There are a lot of people that they want to road jam but they don't have money. So she helped us, and we want to use this opportunity and thank her on behalf of my people.
For many of the artisans, this empowerment is more than just a financial boost. It is a pathway to greater independence and success. Justin Bemuni, NTA News.
As the weather pattern changes from heavy rain with flooding to harmattan season in the northeastern and western regions, the southeastern and southern regions now grapple with heavy rain and flooding. To this effect, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has immediately deployed personnel and relief materials to the region to give the affected persons a sense of belonging. Ilyasu Yakubu reports that flood victims in affected areas benefited from the relief distribution.
Among the 5 states in the eastern region, Anambra State ranks highest with cases of flood devastation year in, year out, with alarming number of casualties and property worth millions of naira destroyed. The 2024 climate predictions and flood outlook positioned Anambra State with high probable risks of flooding. Just as most states of the Federation, especially in the northern region, are focusing on the new pattern of harmattan season, Anambra State is still focusing on the welfare of victims of recent flood devastation in the state. Director General National Emergency Management Agency NEMA Zubaida Umar in a message said, the agency has mobilized resources to Anambra State to cushion the effects of the devastation. Items delivered to the state include bags of rice, gari, condiments, clothing materials, and other toiletries.
This intervention is to help them to make life a little bit easier in the camp.
Executive Secretary, Anambra State Emergency Management Agency, Paul Odinobo, who received the relief items on behalf of the state government, thanked NEMA for the swift reaction to the plight of the victims and promised judicious distribution of the items.
So that's why we are here, to say sorry for them, to thank them, and to encourage them to be patient with the federal government and the state government, that they will be taking good care of.
Our investigation revealed that flooded waters in the affected areas of the state is gradually receding. From Omoaba Anam, community in Anambra is local government area of Anambra State. Ilyasu Yakubu, NTA News.
Northern Nigeria, with its expansive land, abundant resources, and population of over 100 million people, holds vast economic potential. As an area rich in natural resources, agrarian landscapes, and vibrant cultures, the region has long been seen as a strategic hub for economic growth and development. This, the book written by Philip Akpen, Modernizing Northern Nigeria Infrastructure, Rural Facilities and Urban Amenities, 1960 to 1999, explore the level of growth over this period. Haman Jabani reports.
The 8-chapter, 334-page book demonstrates the infrastructural development change in urban and rural landscape in northern Nigeria in the post-colonial era. It discusses and analyzes defense and security infrastructure used in defending the territorial integrity of a nation, with economic development fashioned along with development plan, with each chapter dealing with separate issues but closely related, touching different aspects of infrastructure and rural facilities. The authors say the book investigates the dynamics and consequences of modernization in post-colonial northern Nigeria while identifying the economic and political crisis that hampered government effort to build infrastructure.
My thought is to make people to understand that Nigeria is a great place, and our leaders took time to build infrastructure capacity in Nigeria, and our people should know, so that we can learn from their mistakes and also move this country forward. Ideas are hidden in books. Development comes from reading. If you cannot read, you will not understand, so you must have to read.
Speakers say the author was able to examine the true picture of the state of infrastructure in northern Nigeria, explores ongoing initiatives, address challenges with highlights of future opportunities in the region.
The various movements and activities towards the creation and execution of infrastructures have created new scenarios and imperative requiring a scientific study. This is exactly what this piece has done.
The book is believed to have provided a clear picture of modernization in northern Nigeria and given an example of multidisciplinary history. Hamad Jabani, NTA News.
Engineers from over 80 branches of the Nigerian Society of Engineers converged in Abuja for the 2024 National Engineering Games, where they competed for honors in several games. Calvin Eonwai reports that the annual event, designed to foster unity among engineers and keep them physically fit, took off from the national headquarters of the NSC with the marathon.
We are expecting that our engineers will be fitter than they were before we started, and then we're also expecting some people will get prizes, or there will be prizes, there will be awards that will be given to members, and then most importantly, they would have achieved a broader network amongst our members.
Other activities, including indoor and outdoor games, followed, such as football, tennis, volleyball, basketball, and others. President of the NSC, Margaret Oguntala, who commended the level of turnout, expressed confidence that the objectives of the games were met.
Winning is a tradition in Abuja branch. Abuja branch is the best branch among all the branches of Nigeria Society of Engineers worldwide. And so in everything, we are known for winning. In group dynamics, we are known for winning. In football competitions, we are known for winning. In every competition we participate.
Prizes and trophies were presented to winners at a ceremony witnessed by members and guests. And before we go, a quick look at Monday's weather forecast for Nigeria and other parts of the world. And that's it on the news at NTA International. Thank you for being a part of it. I'm Olajide Bello.